As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.
It was the wrong tone. Gotta use that right tone, you know?
And wording.
If you don't have the right tone, the tone police are going to come in there, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah, because people are too sensitive. Like, what am I going to do? Like, adjust my tone and the way that I'm stating it? Like, I said something about myself morally. Sorry that you perceived it wrong.
Well, for someone so well educated, I would have thought that you'd be able to articulate yourself a little bit more eloquently to the point where you don't hurt people's feelings.
I didn't hurt her feelings. She perceived it to a way that hurt her feelings.
And here's a perfect example of when putting feelings first comes at the detriment of the person you're trying to save. Instead of letting her learn and hearing the truth, you're trying to shield her from reality. There is no growth without her hearing the message.
I didn't blaming her for perceiving it incorrectly.
I didn't personally attack her.
You didn't articulate yourself in a kind way.
I did not personally attack her or anyone on here.
Okay.
I think it's also just her tone, the way she talks. Like, you have quite a, I guess, monotone way of speaking.
Yeah.
And as do I. Sometimes people take what I say offensively, even if it was meant to be taken that way.
You're softly spoken and sweet, darling. I think it's the same.
I want to take it offensively.
Well, no, I'm just using it as an example. Like,
yeah, but chair 3, like, you're kind of cheating because you have the British accent, right? So,
what did you say?
Isn't that cheating? Yeah, isn't that cheating? Like, with the tone?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's 100% cheating. So I don't even feel like
Britannia.
It's totally cheating.
Tone is going to.
You can't just come in with the British accent and be like, "Well, I have the right tone. I have the."
Yeah, but I've also got a degree.
Of course you do. You have a British accent.
I've got a degree in Latin, and I love words. So it's not just because of my accent.
See, and I can say that I apologize for if I felt like if I had said something like that, but I just felt like the way that you were coming at me felt like an attack because of the, not me specifically, but in general for the girls, because I back up my girls that are doing that because it is a tough thing. And for someone to just be like, I don't do it because I have morals. It's like, that's not really fair. So I can apologize for my actions. But I just didn't like the way that you said it was not really respectful towards the women that do that, because that is my life.
Well, it's not just women, it's couples. I know a lot of couples who are husband and wife that does this industry together. There are men that do this industry together, that do this industry just themselves, you know? So when you're like, I don't have morals, I mean, that's to every single person that is, you know, capitalizing on this industry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, to each their own. Did I sit there and bash any of you guys? Did I sit there and bash
it
the
felt
industry?
Like a bash.
Yeah,
I did not
I think we declared it was just more about the tone.
Yeah,
but I have
tone.
to say this, like, after this conversation and after like talking and communicating, like, now I can.
We understand.
Yeah, now I understand.
It's
I think
now
that first like 5 minutes was a little.
Honestly, she's way nicer than me. I would have just straight up been like, "You're all a bunch of fucking immoral degenerate scum." But that's just me though. That's what
Andrew. Don't call me a moral degenerate. Chayne,
you have a whole. He's not in the building right now, so.
Moral
if I was in the
degenerate.
building, I would still say degenerate and moral scum. I promise. I've done it to many people who are in the building, but I mean, that's just it's just me. You know, I'm doing me, right? I'm doing me, and
You do you, boo.
And other people as well. You know, like you do you, and I'll do me. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Brian's back, thank God.
Everybody has different lives, and everyone, like, no one knows exactly what people have been through.
Yeah, where you been?
And why things have came into their life like that. Because some people had different lives where, like, that's something that they have to do in a point. So it's like, I feel like just people should understand everybody's feelings and things about the situation.
Can I ask you, when you got into this industry, was there is there or was there any part of you that feels anything bad about it? Because, as I said, like, I don't feel shame about it. You could say anything you want to me, but I definitely understand that there's parts about it that are bad. There's parts about it that influence society that are bad. There's parts of it that are bad for me. I understand that, and I fully take responsibility over that.
But I feel like
and so is the gasoline industry, but we need gas to make the world go round.
I feel like there's parts bad in anything that you do. Like, anything that you do, there's something bad that could be bad in something that you do. You know what I mean? Like,
This girl has a bad habit of justifying all her bad behavior. She is allergic to accountability.
Like there's like not everything's always perfect. I'm not saying that that's not correct, because that is true. You know, it's like I'm not like, but I feel like a lot of things, like anything that you do, sometimes it could just be a bad point of something. Like, you know, like even like for example, doctors, like not all doctors are actually trying to help. It's a lot of times about the money. It's a lot of times about the money.
What
you know,
about a
I've gone to a
librarian?
doctor's where they've literally scammed me when they could have helped me. You know what I mean? Like,
you're a victim. Here we go, CSI.
that's not always good feeling. That's not always something that should be okay.
For me, it was really hard.
Beautiful symphony right now.
But no, I totally get what you're saying.
I do hear you though. Yeah,
I do get what you're saying. Yeah, because
So I
it's
think
not,
we have to be self-aware. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I don't think I'm like doing charity work over here. You know what I mean? Not at all.
And that's why I made the comment about like the gas industry, is because like we need it. It's essential, right?
Wait, hold on. Wait. So are you
I don't think
are
the
you
corn
drawing-
industry is essential.
Are you drawing a comparison that the adult content industry is essential in the same way that oil refinery is essential?
No. So okay, so it's not like apples and apples here. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I get
saying?
that they're different, but okay, how about this? Simple question.
But
Is the adult
sex work
content-
has been around longer than the
Sure.
gasoline industry.
Is the adult content industry essential?
Is it essential?
Is it? Are
It's
you
not
an essential worker?
like something like OnlyFans. It is not essential, right?
Let's not go by COVID standards, because COVID standards were crazy.
But is the sex industry always been something that's always been, even if it was secret down, you know, alleys and
Just because it's always been around, why do you have this fascination to enter the profession? You don't have to do it. It doesn't make sense to think like that.
all these things? Yes, it's always been.
Yeah, but so has killing for hire.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
just making the appeal to history and saying because this thing has always been part of human behavior for some people, that means it can't be regulated. You'd have to make follow that logic the same way.
And I
Well,
do
so
think
what?
that
So
the
killing for
industry
hire
needs
has
to be
always been part
regulated.
of the human experience too, and you wouldn't advocate people do that, right?
Guys, I have a question. If you guys weren't in OnlyFans, do you have any other kind of like talent or anything else that you could do? Like,
I'm going to go to fashion school. I've
You're
already
going
been
to?
put, yes, I've already put everything in. I'm waiting for the next year because it's summertime now. So this coming up, this beginning of this year, I'm going to be going to fashion school. I've actually been sewing for like 5 years. I'm really good at it. I actually have Instagram where I make clothes and I do that kind of stuff. I'm going to be a designer. So
if you already know how to sew and if you already know if you know about the textile industry, blah, 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 then why would you need to go to school? Why wouldn't you just start your own small business and then, you know, create your own?
Because I love it so much that if I can learn every last bit of it, no matter how it is, I would like to learn all that. So I want to have that knowledge because I love it so much that to me, going to that class wouldn't be school. Like to me, it would be something that I want to do because I like to learn. And if I'm learning about something that I love, that I can bonus on by getting a degree that can help me in the future also when it comes to that stuff, then I would love to do that because I want to know every last bit of the thing that I love.
Okay, good. I was just asking because it's, you know, it would be concerning if your only passion was OnlyFans.
Yeah, no. This is just a gateway to get to where I really need to be.
Okay. Got it, babe.
And I went to school. I'm a licensed esthetician and I went to spa studios and became a certified pro makeup artist. I've worked on many different runways, different spas. I've had my own spa before. Unfortunately, you know, the economy has destroyed businesses back and forth. I am telling you, I am no way in the 15 years of being in the beauty industry.
It hasn't destroyed those businesses though.
Oh,
Like
different
estheticians and spas and things. I mean, those businesses.
different economies at different times. It has in different areas,
I
right?
think it's saturation that has destroyed those industries.
I can't think of, like, even under Obama's economy during the recession, those were actually businesses that were still making money.
So every single spa,
especially
every single spa, right? Every single spa has made it through the recession.
Yeah, but I mean, even in a booming economy, every single anything's not going to always make money. That's absurd, right? It doesn't
Exactly.
So, like, you could still have a business which isn't healthy even when the economy is booming.
Yeah.
That doesn't have anything to do with anything. Everybody's going to have to experience that at some point, working for a business that has healthier or down points. I'm just saying that those businesses typically are very healthy businesses. They have been for a long time.
Yeah, but it's not every single business. And it's really hard when you are going to school, you're raising your children, you're running a business, you're doing multiple things. And sometimes you have to divert your attention. And there's different aspects of where you live, right? I lived in a small town. It was a lot harder to bring in, it wasn't LA, right? So people weren't going and getting all types of different treatments. It was a smaller town that was a little bit harder to be more successful in the spa industries. But what I was saying is that I make way more money.
Wait, so a little question on the background here. So you got started in adult content first.
No, she started first.
But with her,
can I finish with one thing?
with her encouragement.
I just wanted to finish this. The last thing you said, you make way more money. So let me just ask you this straight then.
Yes.
Let's just say that you were in that small town and you were making about what an esthetician generally makes.
Yes.
In a small town, or even what an esthetician would make in kind of a big city. Isn't it the case that you would still do this because it's more money?
I think she would choose OnlyFans. It's a passion of hers. Look how long she's been doing this sex work thing for anyways. It's in her blood, and she's passed it on to her daughter.
I still do OnlyFans or do spa?
Spa.
What if I was making the money that I'm making now?
No. If you were making the money that a general spa technician would make.
Yes. Okay, so I'm making that. So what was the question again?
So wouldn't it be the case that you would still do OF since the money is so much better than do spa work, even if you made what a typical spa worker makes?
Yeah, I mean, I would do OF. I'm completely debt free.
Then I don't understand why bring up all of the history of the economy and you couldn't get jobs and all of this.
It was her
because
question.
The truth is that even if it was the case that you could work at any spa and get paid what a spa worker makes, you'd still be doing OF.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, and
so why even bring any of that up?
Because basically,
I was asking because I asked her if she has any other talents other than just being an OnlyFans.
So I was answering her question.
Sure, you might have other talents, but you would still resort to OnlyFans. So
I see.
Creator.
Okay, but I mean,
I wasn't just clowning.
It's like you would still do OF anyway, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, she wouldn't have.
Doing it anyway.
But she wouldn't have been in that position if it wasn't for that. So then, technically, if that never happened, she would still be doing the spa
that's what I thought she was trying to say. That makes more sense now.
So
yeah.
Wait,
but the problem is that even if she was in that position, she would still do it. You see what I mean?
So if they both made the same amount of money, right, the spa thingy and the OnlyFans, you would still pick the OnlyFans over the spa thing.
Yes.
So therefore, right, that point proven. Thanks, Andrew.
At this point, yes.
Welcome.
I enjoy what I do.
Nasty bitch.
Brian, I have a question for you.
For me?
Yeah, for you. Like, I'm not complaining at all because this is really yummy, but like, why did you give it to me? And then she asked and you said no.
Oh, I said later. I'll get her one later.
But why?
We have a 2 popsicle at the table limit. It's a policy written in blood, as many policies are. Trust me, there's a reason for the policy.
But I didn't ask for a popsicle.
You made eye contact with me.
Do you want me to have it, darling?
You made eye contact with me.
I don't. You're on OnlyFans.
You were like,
What?
Feminism. What's your position on feminism?
Strictly against feminism. I think all waves, first wave, second wave, and third wave, were all harmful for society. I think the reason that we're here is because of first wave feminism.
What do you mean by here?
This is okay. Hang on. Actually, this is a really interesting take. So you got to help me out here. You think that they're bad because they're bad for society, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then why are you doing OF?
Here we go again.
That's what I was thinking. If you know it's bad and a detriment to women, then why did you choose to partake in that profession? You seem like you have more sense than that.
I fully admit that it's bad. Fully admit it. I don't think it's great for society, but I also think it's something that I'm taking advantage of it, and I also enjoy doing it. So before I was doing OF, I was filming myself and doing it. Obviously, none of that is posted because it was a while ago. But I was filming
You're
it.
saying you would do OF for free?
Honestly,
She's contradicting herself right now because just a second ago, she just said it was bad. Now she says she enjoys doing it. So what's it gonna be?
yeah, I enjoyed just
sometimes.
filming it and like.
Yeah,
Was it for
but
your
you know,
own personal
hang on,
pleasure?
Hang on. Here's my question though. Would you do it for free?
Probably, yeah.
Oh my God.
Depending on the workload
You
that
would
it
do
is.
for really? You would do it for free?
Depending on the workload. So, for example, like the workload that it is right now weighs out to make sense for how much I'm getting paid with it. So I'm willing to do all the other stuff because, hey, the money's great. But if I was doing it for free, I wouldn't put as much effort into it. But yeah, I would probably still do it.
Why?
Because she's naturally a promiscuous girl.
I just enjoy showing myself. I know that's kind of weird, but
You just like having sex on camera in front of other people?
not even having sex, but like even just by myself. Like
And the
like
types
if
of
I'm
things that
gooning,
you're
I'll
doing
goon to
by
myself.
yourself, and the types of things you're doing by yourself, which are highly sexualized, probably include things like masturbation. et
Why
cetera,
can't you
et
do
cetera.
that on your own? Why do you have to put it all over the internet?
Because it's clear as day. She obviously has mental illness.
I didn't have to. Nobody told me I had to. I actually started out doing TikTok and doing like Legos on TikTok, and just like riding my horses and stuff. And I got 1,000,001 DMs about OF, and I gave it a few months of thought before I actually did it. And it was back and forth, yes, no, and I decided in the end to do it. In the end, I'm glad I did it. But if other people ask me if they should do it, I typically argue against starting it. Not that, like, I always try and frame it exactly how it is.
Yeah, and it can be a tough.
Let me ask you this.
Can be tough.
Do you
but-
think it's evil? Do you think OnlyFans is evil?
I think the general corn industry is, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you find it evil, but you enjoy doing it. What does that say about you?
I think-
About OF.
I think it's a better version of it because
Yeah, but is it evil?
I think at its root, yeah,
It's evil?
yeah.
Then why would you do evil things?
I fully admit that it's honestly it's because I plan to have children in the future, and this was a way that I wanted to make a buttload of money and be able to spend time with my children and provide them with resources, put them into private education, do all of that.
Couldn't you have just married a stud?
What's going to happen when your little boy
Like, I mean, honestly,
turns
couldn't you just
13 and
marry,
his
like-
friends are all bullying him at school, showing him pictures of their mum spread eagle on a bed?
No, of
like,
course.
do you think that that's going to be great for your children?
No, but I also think that a certain level of, not bullying, I don't want to say bullying, but a certain level of hardship kind of
Stop it. Get some help.
builds strength. Not saying that every kid should be bullied, but
Yeah, we got to toughen the little Johnny up.
Poor little Timmy.
Pansy. We got to go over there and beat him up, stuff him in the locker because his mommy does.
Well, because
what? Come on.
because at the end of the day, they shouldn't worry about what
that's
other people
actually-
have to think, you know. So it's like they shouldn't like. He needs to like. It's nice to teach them that growing up, like you don't need to worry about what other people think. That has nothing to do with you. So if people were bullying him for that,
It's actually
then that's not.
It's the
I'm
first
sorry.
time I've heard.
Andrew also asked a question. I was paying attention to that one. What was it?
I was asking you if it's evil.
Yeah, after that. It was right as she was stating hers.
Yeah. So are you engaging in evil?
I would say so, yeah. A part of
Well,
it.
don't you think you should stop doing that?
Eventually.
You can imagine somebody, if you say, look, this is evil, that, well, don't you think you should stop doing that?
I think there are certain levels of evil.
That?
I think there's certain levels of evil. So I think
It's clear with these OnlyFans chicks that money overrides everything. And the first thing to go is their morals.
Think like, for example, like I think smoking cigarettes, I think it's
That's not
technically
evil. That's not evil.
smoking marijuana. I think
No,
using
drinking a
substances
beer, having a
is evil
cigarette,
because it's hurting
those
you.
Those things aren't evil. I wouldn't classify them as evil. You actually classified this as evil.
So-
It's evil. At its root, it's evil. So you by your admission are participating in evil.
Yeah.
Like knowingly. Now, all of us, I think, probably at some points in our life participate in evil deeds.
Correct.
Sometimes knowingly or unknowingly. But when you recognize that it's an evil deed, don't you generally steer clear of that because you know it's evil, right? Isn't that the whole point of being able to recognize evil for what it is?
Yeah. And I fully admit the hypocrisy. 100%.
Well, it's not. I mean, I don't even know if in this case it's hypocrisy. It's just inconsistency, right? It's just an inconsistent standard. Like if you know you're engaging in something that by your own standard is evil, you just stop doing that, right?
I'll have a drink here and there at home. I'll have a beer, but I know it's bad for me. I know I shouldn't be doing it. I know it's going to hurt my liver in the long term.
Irrelevant.
Why?
It's not the same. That's you maybe harming your body slightly, but evil means that you're harming other people, right?
Okay, let's clarify real quick the definition, like what we're considering evil, because maybe I agreed to something that I don't know what I agreed to.
You serious?
Yeah, that seems fair. What do you think evil is?
See, that's actually, honestly, I'm having difficulty like putting a pinpoint on that.
So that was a lie.
No, you know the definition of evil. You just don't like the label now since Andrew's breaking it down for you. You can actually see your stupidity in real time.
Is what she said kind of more close to the definition of evil that we're going upon, where it's hurting yourself and others?
Well, in my tradition, the Orthodox tradition, evil doesn't have an ontology. It just means absence from God. So anything that's absent from God would be considered evil. But it doesn't itself have its own sense of thing. It's a phenomenon which we call a thing which would be absent from the energies of God. That's what we would consider evil to be.
I mean, I am absent
I'm asking
from
you
God.
what you consider evil to be. Now you know what I consider it, but I'm asking you what you consider it to be. You don't have the same standard I do. So I'm wondering from your view, what is evil?
I think. Sorry to interrupt, Andrew. I think I think that the people who manufacture and create the cigarettes, they might be evil, but I think that the person who smokes a cigarette isn't evil. If that makes any sense.
I can kind of see where she's coming from with that example. It's like the drug dealer versus the addict scenario.
Why though?
Because they are knowingly distributing something that, potentially could cause cancer or like health problems.
Okay, so the
for
consumer,
money.
you wouldn't.
For money.
I understand. So the consumer, you wouldn't hold responsible.
No,
but you would hold.
no.
the pusher
I
to be
love a ciggy, like when I'm out for having a drink.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that because
you would consider the pusher to be.
Yeah.
So in that case, chair one from your view is evil.
What?
Who's the pusher?
I would have to agree with Andrew, because if you're an OF content creator, you're pretty much the drug dealer in this scenario.
So the person
she would be the pusher, right?
Are you saying
is
she the user or is she the pusher?
I would be the pusher.
Yeah, because technically OnlyFans is just your pusher because the people that created the OnlyFans and then provided that platform for other people.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think that the men who are consuming this corn, whatever, are the best. But without the people who are providing it, it can't be done. So it's literally like the person, the Marlboro, they are creating something that's dangerous, but the person who smokes the Marlboro cigarette isn't evil.
She's technically right, The OF user and the smoker, they're not evil, but the two of them do need to take accountability for their choices, so they're not victims.
Y'all smoking crack! Something is wrong with you people!
That's what I call a chain reaction.
Manifest
manifest my own destiny. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, the perfect recipe. May they remember me, my words will live on. I'm guided by an energy, a flame, hold it close to you. Check out my melodies. It's the media that's been leading you, I'll show you a thing. Misdirection, what's the message? They don't want you to win.
As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.